So, this is week 2 of the NFL TV map for 2023 on CBS and Fox, as well as what channels are going to simulcast Amazon Prime and the ESPN Monday Night Footballs. That's right, there's going to be some weeks where there's Monday Night Football on ESPN and ABC, double simulcast, the same game. Watch out, and there's going to be times where there's one game on ABC and one game on ESPN this year. And then there's going to be times where the game just in ESPN simulcasted locally to, over the air to those two people in those TV markets. Because they have to show it. Because it has reward. It's usually like the channel that has rights for the preseason games. Does channels for their season games usually. I mean, not always, though. Maybe. But anyways, here we go. So Thursday, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Amazon. Does Minnesota, Philadelphia will be simulcast on KMSC Fox 9 in Minneapolis, and it will be simulcast on WTX of Fox 29 in Philadelphia. So it'll be simulcast on Fox stations in Minneapolis area and the Philadelphia market area. North Carolina will be simulcast on WDSU NBC6 in New Orleans. So they're local NBC affiliate. And WAXN 64 in short, which is an independent channel. WAXN is. So Miami and New England on NBC. That's obviously over there. Then North Carolina is ESPN Chris Fuller, Dan Ruski with Rick. Cleveland at Pittsburgh is Joe Drake. CBS early now. Most of the country is going to see Kansas City at Jacksonville. A lot you can see there. And then Las Vegas and Buffalo is going to get the early games. So there's going to be most of the West Coast, except a spot in Oregon in Northern California, which is Eugene market for the LA Chargers in Tennessee, because obviously just never played for Oregon. And then Los Angeles area, and there's a tiny bit of Arizona for a reason. And then a tiny bit of blue is in or should be red probably, and a tiny bit red in Arizona for a reason. And then most of Tennessee, it's pretty much most of Tennessee except for Tenio spot in Tennessee, Tenio spots Tennessee, a little bit in Arkansas, Alabama, and Arkansas. Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas. So, yeah. And then there's a little bit in West Virginia and Virginia. There's maybe a tiny little spot in North Carolina, maybe just it's barely in it. You can see right there is. And then there's obviously Baltimore and Cincinnati. Obviously the LSU area, Baton Rouge gets it because Joe went to LSU. So rooting interest, college fans at college team probably rooting interest. And then just a tiny bit in that tiny little bit that area. And there's in all of Ohio, a little bit of Indiana, most of Kentucky, all of West Virginia, Maryland, most of Pennsylvania is going to get Cincinnati Baltimore game, mainly because it's in AFC North territory too. And then all of New York, New Jersey, and you got Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut. That range is going to get the mainly because it's a Buffalo game, and they're in the Buffalo rooting area. And then CBS Late, most of the country is going to get Jets in Dallas, but there is going to be Denver, Wyoming, Montana. You have Utah, New Mexico, most of Kansas and Nebraska. Some of South Dakota is going to get it as well. Washington, Denver, most of New Mexico is, and a little bit of Arizona. Some of Nevada, Washington, Denver. And then there's going to be a little spot in Pennsylvania, Maryland, maybe a little spot in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, or a little bit in West Virginia. Most of Virginia is going to get the Washington and Denver game. And then the focusing on the first window is going to be Seattle, Detroit. A little bit of Upper Michigan. Most is going to be the Kevin Burkhardt Grey Ghosts, but they're at the main game this week for a reason. They have of Washington, most of Oregon, most of Idaho, some of Wyoming, and some of Montana. You get Seattle, Detroit, and most of them, Michigan, a little bit of Upper Michigan. Not all Ohio. Some of Ohio, some of Pennsylvania, some of West Virginia. They're going to get the main game. They're going to win the national game. So Alaska. Chicago and Tampa is some of Iowa, a little bit of Missouri. Not all of them. Illinois, a little bit of Indiana, tiny bit of Michigan. And then there's going to be a spot, and obviously most of Florida's going to get Tampa game as well. And then they're going to go with Green Bay and Atlanta. Where Green Bay and Atlanta is the main game in most of the areas across the country on Fox. It's the early window. Indianapolis and Houston is a bit of Texas, a little bit of Louisiana, and a little bit of Arkansas. And then we have most Indiana, or not, and then we have a little bit of Kentucky, a little bit of Illinois, and then we have New York Giants in Arizona. Most of Arizona is getting a little bit of California, a little bit of Nevada, and then all of New York, New Jersey, some of Pennsylvania, most of Vermont. Some of like the Rhode Island, Connecticut, that area, they're getting it. And then some in Maine is getting it for whatever reason. Some of Massachusetts, they're getting it. Mainly probably because the early window is if your team is playing at home early, which is probably the case. No, they're getting New York and Arizona mainly because in that area, because New York's playing in that range, and Arizona is. What's with Cincinnati and Jacksonville and Nashville and Kansas City and San Francisco and the Rams? The feature late game. What's up with them? They must have a CBS. Well, yeah, no, yes, Jacksonville does. Kansas City has an early window CBS game. So it's part of Cleveland. Cleveland also had. Cincinnati also has it. One early. Yes, Cincinnati does. And so is Nashville and Baltimore. So it's kind of interesting to see like the late windows. There's a featured late game. but in some parts I can see the areas where this game shouldn't be relevant to them, at all. But it is, like, surprise Ken Burger Gregos, and don't get the main name. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Zilma are the main name this week. So either testing them out, or they just happen to get the best game out of the two this week. Maybe they thought Seattle was going to be better than it was. So I guess this ends up being the 1-0 game. Because Indianapolis and Houston's 0-1-0-1. Chicago and Tampa Bay ends up being 0-1-1-0. Detroit, yeah, it's an 0-1-1-0. I mean, San Francisco Rams is a 1-0-1-0 late, so it's better than Giants Arizona. They're 0-1-0-1 late window. But yeah, so is there any week 3 updates for what's Jetworks or simulcast week 3? No updates yet. But we do have New York Giants San Francisco Thursday night, Pittsburgh Las Vegas NBC Sunday night, Philadelphia Tampa Bay on 7:15 Eastern ABC, 8:50 Eastern, LA Rams at Cincinnati Eastern. See a single, the early window, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo. You get New England at Jets, Denver at Miami, Kevin Hart and Trent Green, Buffalo at Washington goes to Andrew Callan, T-Bar by Matt Ryan, Tennessee at Cleveland goes to Sparrow Diaz, and M. Archuleta. Indianapolis at Baltimore goes to the Felon Crew, which is Beth Mons, James Lofton, Jay Feely. There's gonna be some Felon announcers, play-by-plays, or for extra games. Fox says them as well, and CBS gets this one. In the late window on CBS is Carolina and Seattle, and you and Charles Davis. So early window on Fox is gonna be New Orleans at Green Bay, LA Chargers at Minnesota, Atlanta at Detroit, Houston at Jacksonville, Chicago at Kansas City, and Dallas, Arizona, which is going to be Chicago at Kansas City, obviously. The East Coast game is on the Central game is on the late window. So there you go. I'm going to be doing those games. So I'll be talking about them next week, TVAP. So, next time, take